What's good? Bo back at you with another video. Today I'm going to be discussing Shadowlands legendaries and how to acquire them. They're actually quite easy to get, and you will be able to get one very early on in Shadowlands if nothing changes. There are 4 main components to them, and I will discuss how to get each one. Keep in mind this is all in the beta and is subject to change before the actual release of Shadowlands. But enough chit chat, let's get into it. Legendaries this time around are going to be from crafted materials that you as the player get to choose. It's going to be different from Legion with no RNG aspect to their acquisition. That being said, we need to find a crafter who can make such powerful items, which is where the Runecarver comes into play. After you choose your covenant, you'll be taken through an introductory questline leading you to the Runecarver and Torghast, which is where you'll be spending most of your time for these legendaries. Blizzard is changing this questline, allowing you to jump straight into Torghast and unlock all the zones, which I will cover in more detail soon. Once you've unlocked the Runecarver, first thing you need is a memory of the Runecarver. These are recipes for the legendaries that come from a variety of sources. They will be unlocked similar to how essences were unlocked for BFA and will be account-wide from the start. If you check the dungeon journal, you can see all the legendaries available for your class and spec, including what armor slots they're available on and their drop sources. There are 4 general and 4 spec specific legendaries for every class. Try to figure out which ones you want to go for first so you can start working towards those early on. Next thing you need is Soul Ash, which is the currency you need in order to craft your legendaries. But where the hell do you get Soul Ash? Well, that comes from Torghast. Torghast is like your weekly visions from BFA that you needed to do, or should have done at least, to get more corruption resistance, but in this case it's for Soul Ash. The amount of Soul Ash you can get is limited per week, but you can choose to do the zones as many times as you like for whatever reason. In Torghast there are 6 different zones, and only 2 zones are active at a time, with different ones being available each week. This makes it feel less redundant each week, and least more so than Visions, because you only had 2 places, Stormwind and Orgrimmar, but now you get 6. There is another optional zone, however it is much longer and uses previous zones to make it. The zones in this one are random, and it serves as like a challenge mode for some cool cosmetic rewards. Each zone is broken up into 8 levels, or layers as Blizzard calls them. Every layer has 6 floors you will need to clear in order to complete the layer. At the end of each floor there is a mini boss you will need to kill in order to progress to the next floor. And for every 3 floors you complete, you will get a rest period where you can buy items from a vendor. To purchase these items, you will collect a currency called Phantasma that drops from almost everything in the floors. The layers and floors are like a Mythic Plus key in a sense, because the mobs just scale more and more the higher you go. To help you complete these floors, you will get added powers or effects along the way that can give or enhance your current abilities. These abilities are nice because they add some flavor to every run, at least for Demon Hunter, and can make no single run feel the same. Although I doubt I'll be saying that 6 months into the expansion. The amount of Soul Ash is predetermined at each layer, with early layers giving the most Soul Ash. Completing the highest layer for that zone will unlock all the Soul Ash from the previous layers if you haven't already done them. On the tooltip for the layer, you can see how much total Soul Ash you will be getting on its completion. This is extremely nice, as we can just complete the highest layers for both zones and be done with collecting Soul Ash for the week. From my experience, the 2 layer 8 zones I completed took me a little over an hour to complete, to give you guys a rough idea how long it should take. I definitely don't think that's too bad of a time investment, especially when you compare them to Visions, which could have taken hours if you ran them consistently for sockets. The shittiest part is that for the first week, you'll need to spend a decent amount of time unlocking all the layers if you want to maximize the amount of Soul Ash you can get. Fortunately, completing 1 layer for 1 zone will unlock the next layer for every zone. Hopefully they don't change this, because that's actually a huge time save right there. It actually hurts to think how long this would take if we had to go and do each layer for every zone if that's not the case. The total amount of Soul Ash you can get from each zone is 50, so in total we can get 100 for the week. This is perfect because you only need 100 Soul Ash to craft the lowest item level legendary. As you guys can see, Torghast is where you will need to allocate most of your time for these legendaries. The third thing you're going to need is a base item. These are items that serve as molds for the legendaries themselves, and they're all acquired from professions. Blacksmiths will be able to make the plate items. Leather workers will make the leather and mail items. Tailors will make the cloth items. And jewel crafters will make the necklaces and rings. Even enchanters will play a part because some items require their materials. The items can come at 4 different item levels depending on the rank of the recipe. If you choose to get a higher base item level for your legendary, you will need more soul ash, with each higher rank costing 100 more soul ash. Essentially, each rank equates to how many weeks the legendary will take to complete, with 4 weeks being the longest for a max item level legendary. There is an upgrade system in place for lower item level legendaries, however, not much is known about this currently. I assume you'll need another item from professions and more soul ash. It'll probably make it so the total soul ash required will be higher than if you were to wait the 4 weeks, or else I don't see any incentive to wait. The recipes for these base items are going to be acquired from endgame content. Not entirely sure the specifics on this, but it should be pretty easy to get. Higher ranks for the recipe won't be unlocked until the crafter has crafted them a certain amount of times. They are not soulbound, meaning you will be able to purchase these items freely from the auction house and trade them between characters. Once you have the item in hand, you can start thinking about what secondary stats you want for it. The secondary stats are going to come from stat scrolls, which is the final thing you need. Inscriptionists will be able to make stat scrolls with a particular secondary stat, and you will need 2 of them for each legendary. This is one of the ways professions will stay relevant throughout the entire course of the expansion, which is nice. And that's it. You're done. It's a pretty simple process with a lot more control over your legendaries compared to Legion. I really like how we can choose what power we want from the start and feel like we didn't get cucked at the end of the day. Being able to customize what stats we want on them is also pretty nice. Anyways, what do you guys think of this whole system? Let me know down in the comments below. That's going to do it for this video. But until next time, dudes, peace.